Hello, hello. Welcome to nine, 10, yeah, nine, right? Episode nine. I've been pretty good about that. Today we're going to go over hamstrings and quads. This is going to be a good one. This all, as if you saw last week. So if you're watching this in the future, and hold on, Kathy, can you write in the chat? I'm glad you're here because you can always tell me if the sound is up to par. If you can just give me, yes, sweet, cool, awesome. And then I think after this, next week, we should have I'm going to try and get the Bluetooth one so me and Sarah both can be on it, and I can just be anywhere. Boom, not have to worry about it. It'd be awesome. Oh, okay, cool, yeah. So we, last week's videos. So last week we did hips, glutes, and pelvic tilt. There's one of the videos we didn't record right, so that's gonna be the one that we're gonna redo. So if you guys are wondering about that one, that's why that wasn't out there. That was the partner one, but the self-therapy one is actually the one I'm gonna release this one. So tell anybody who's interested in seeing kind of what this is about, if they're interested, I'm gonna release last week's self-therapy one and put it out there in the public so people can just see just one of the episodes, let people get an idea of it. And I might find another partner therapy one. What's that? The self-therapy one is already on there though. It should be on the website already. Are you going to the website to check is that where you go, Kathy? Oh, you just go to the website, and on the little bar that does the drop down, you click it and it has the Muscle Whisperer course, and then you should have the password. Yeah, check email and you should have the password. So, and that way you don't have to wait for us. You'll just be able to check it periodically, and you'll know when one is updating. So anybody else who's in there, if they want to go sign up or anything like that, I mean, they can go to the website, click the little menu bar, drop it down, and you'll see the course. And then if you want to log in, and you already do it, so you can just check it, and whatever videos we've done will be in there. And as it updates, it'll always get bigger and bigger with whatever is in there. Even if we use another platform to host it, I think we'll always collect it into the website as well. So we're doing in Vimeo. Yeah, we're hosting them through Vimeo right now, but they're being put into the website. So the links are there. They're ran in Vimeo, but if you go to the website has the collection of the links for you to be able to go check. We're doing a parasite cleanse, so it makes you feel really good, but it's really focuses on mucus and things like that. So it's funny, like my throat from last week to this week feels fine and everything, but throughout the day, it's like your body just purges it out, which is really, I mean, what helps us to keep our immune system super high. But anyways, we're going to do hamstrings and quads today. We're going to do the partner therapy. So Sarah's going to get the continuation of basically what I would say. So again, if you are watching this in the future, then the pelvic tilt one that we did last week, and when I redo the partner therapy, you'll see that out probably by the time anybody who's watching this in the future, look for that. And that would be the one that I would definitely pair with this one. It's the best one as far as getting the pelvis to fully set in would be, if I was going to do just a couple of them to be the best thing to work on for the pelvis, I would do last week's, which is glute, hip, and pelvic tilt. And then that's going to be for this week is the hamstring and quads. So from the knee to basically the lower back, if you hit all those areas, you have a really good chance of getting a lot of the stuff that you do to stick. Whereas if you do just what we did last week, you'll get probably a lot of reversion. If you're just doing the hips, glutes, and pelvic tilt, you can make somebody feel real good, but they're not going to get completion because a lot of the other in training that you've built up into the nervous system through the parts surrounding those areas are going to pull you, they're still part of the nervous system, which is still part of the recording device. It is remembering what we have done the most with it. So if you think of it that way, the other areas still have a ton of stimulation. So we need to decompress everything around the area that we're really trying to get the effect on, as well as decompressing the area. Same thing as like going down the extremities through the arms into your fingers and everything like that when you're doing any shoulder work, chest work, upper back work, or anything from the thoracic, mid back, spine, all the way up. Anything that you want to get better, you should definitely work all the way out to the extremities. Same thing from here. You want to start from the main region and then work out. You can do it from the feet up, but you better be good at what you do. You better know what you're doing and have a really good rhythm, because if it wasn't somebody like me or, who I know has done this for a long time, to really be able to trace those patterns and to do it, I mean, you can't mess somebody up, but you might not get the effect that you want working from the feet up. Because a lot of the stuff that you're going to work on is then it's again going to change when you get up to the pelvis. You get up to the pelvis, everything below it and above it is going to change in a radical way. So you'll help the pelvis change more by doing from the feet up. So when you get to the pelvis and everything, it's going to get a bigger shift. But that bigger shift is going to in turn make you go back down the legs anyways. So I kind of see what the big shift is going to be by starting with the pelvis and then working your way down to the feet. I think it's a lot better because you're kind of like working, if you consider it like a flow of water from here down, think of it that way. If you do it that way, it'll give you a finish point. You adjust it, whatever shifts, you're going to work through it anyways. And then when you get to the feet, you'll have your end result on it. And then same thing when you go up here, like dig around chest, into the armpits, upper back, traps, but then work all the way down to the hands. If you work from the hands and everything, you're going to be getting these twisting and everything's going to be trying to shift. It's going to get really uncomfortable up through here. It might make it harder for you to get it to, not to release, but it's going to be more painful, more uncomfortable while you work through it. So it's always better to start at the epicenter, like the location of where you're trying to really focus on. But also the body's, unless you're dealing with trauma, do it the same way. Everybody wants to say we're so different. No, we're not. I mean, we all have a different current state, but the way that we should be assessed and treated, it's not different because you got to look at like efficiency. You got to look at like what actually makes the biggest effect on the body. And when you mess with the shoulder girdle and the pelvic girdle, you're going to get a huge shift regardless, period. And it's going to eliminate a lot of problems that would otherwise be in there. So, to think that we're so different. Now, if you've fallen down the steps a few times in your life, you got in a huge car accident, you had like a horse buck you off, something crazy, that's trauma. Trauma changes everything. It's like if you got tenderness around the knee and everything like that, typically it's going to be because you are having some kind of dysfunction from the foot and stability of that into the ankle, or something in the same, like in the hip region. Now if a horse kicks you in the knee, then you have a reason to identify and assess at the point of impact, at the origin of the trauma. So the only time, and I've been doing this a long time, many sessions, and I haven't seen it deviate. So if you're not dealing with trauma, okay, and trauma is relative. Some people consider trauma, that's not trauma. Some people ignore trauma. That is trauma. That's probably more common. People walk by and smack their elbow on the side of the table real hard, and they might not even, attribute anything that they're going through to that because they just banged their elbow. You know what I mean? Hit my funny bone. You could smack something real good in a joint location and just have a spontaneous buildup of scar tissue. And I'm not saying it happens instantly. So I know we have to correct everything and be super literal on when we do these, but the body can build up scar tissue in a certain place pretty quick. All you have to do is create a over-resonation of a nerve, meaning you have to just create a hot spot, and the body will suppress it with scar tissue because scar tissue has 7 times the pain receptors again. So it's just spreading one signal out 7 times. It's making one signal split up 7 times. And if it builds enough of it up, eventually the signal, you don't feel it because it's spread out. But you can get that, and it could cause the entire movement pattern to change, and it could be something that eventually tears your rotator cuff. I mean, it really does happen. So a lot of times, like when I talk to old timers, guys specifically, women are more honest about kind of vomiting out their issues really quickly. Guys, it's like the plot thickens over 8 months of working with them, like 6 months in. But you have to remember too, even with your own body and with somebody else's body, the body is building up like an onion. It's fascially and structurally building up layers of support. So you can't think that it built up in a straight line. So don't think that you're going to unwind it in a straight line. So as you unwind things, everything continues to change. You got to weave through them, and then realize that you'll realize the different pathways and different things like that as it unwinds. It's more or less what I was trying to say with that. And then you'll find different hot spots and stuff like that too, that cause it. So that's why I assess the hard tissues too. When you're going through it, you want to find a hard spot that's got some kind of tenderness to it. You don't want to find like just a super tender spot that makes you kind of like cringe and close your eyes. Those aren't the spots you want to seek out when you're foam rolling, and those aren't the spots you want to work on with somebody. If they're like, and you can find another good spot that's going to be effective to release that in that region, or to cause a release in that region that they can just melt through. That's what you want to go to, because then you come back to that spot, and I guarantee you, if it's in the same region, it's going to have some kind of subsiding in that pain and that tenderness. And same thing if you're beating the crap out of yourself with a roller, like a lot. If you can make this any easier on yourself, then by all means do it. Don't try and win the Olympics for pain enduring. Like don't sit there and put yourself right into the meat of the quad on the lateral side out here in the biggest, most painful junction in the body. If you don't have to, work through the hamstring. If your quad is angry, we're gonna show that today. If your quad is angry, go to the hamstring first. If your hamstring is angry, go to the quad first. If the adductors are angry or the abductors are angry, go to the other one. It should be like that with every part of your body. If your hips are super angry, go to this. And if you don't know these, okay, guys, I don't expect all of you to know agonist and antagonist. Agonist is the one that you're talking about, and the antagonist would be the opposing one of that. So like your chest being your agonist, the antagonist to it would be, getting into the lat and, basically front and back. So you start looking at it that way. Okay. If this muscle's here, most likely the one that's going to be mirroring it is right back there. So agonist and antagonist, if you look up like quadriceps, you look up, hamstring, you look up pectoral, you look at like any muscle group, glutes, the gluteus, whatever they want to call it, and just look up agonist, agonist, and then antagonist, antagonist. And look those up, and I'll give you a reference point to look at. So your opposing muscles and stuff like that. If you get into a super angry area, look up the antagonist muscle to that, okay? And then you'll find in that region, you'll probably find more comfort in what you're doing, and you'll be able to find a similar spot, like a hot spot. That's just easier to endure. And once you do that, then when you go back to the other side. So that's what we're going to do today. Yeah, Sarah put together an awesome PowerPoint, so let's check that out. You need to put the music with it. Good. All right. So we're getting into the more of the muscles of the leg. And you can look at rectus femoris, TFL, IT band, bicep femoris. Yeah, that's a pretty good order of it too. Because in reality, a lot of people will feel like down the middle of the leg, but it's actually the sartorius, the muscle you see there on the left. That looks like a garden hose spout, and it wraps around the leg. So it helps to rotate our leg, okay? Rectus femoris being the big bulky guy right straight down the middle of your leg. The TFL is the hip flexor up here. The IT band is a band of connective tissue. It has no function, okay? It is a responsive tissue, meaning that it doesn't have an active function. It has a passive response, and there's a massive difference in that. People want to play around talking science with the IT band, and some people who say this stuff, they put the absolute wrong perspective in people's minds. Like, don't foam roll your IT band. Do you see that thing down the side of the leg? Guess what people do? They literally delete rolling the outside or lateral part of the leg from their entire repertoire. And there's some people that I have seen who are religious on the foam rollers who I have worked with after that and found that they deleted pretty much the bulk of the lateral portion of the leg because somebody told them not to foam roll their IT band. It's completely, I don't even know what word describes that. It's fictitious. It's complete like nonsense. When you say that, it's not, you don't play with the IT band as if you're going to do something with it, but yes, you definitely put indirect pressure through the IT band. And in turn, like it's putting indirect pressure, more or less direct pressure, but it's, you know, you can look at it, how it sits and all the muscles under under the IT band. So we need to hit those. And the best way is to come from the top and roll into it, and from the bottom and come into it. So you're like more or less lifting that sheath off of it and kind of getting up under it. And that's the best way to do it, because the only way to get the IT band to relax is to understand what the IT band does. And the IT band, it balances the tension of the leg. So if you get tension in the midline and wherever, anywhere in the leg, let's not be detailed, then it is going to clamp down on the side of your leg, because it just responds. As tension builds here, it builds tension here. It's just clamping down. As stuff pulls against it, it pulls back against it. So there's that passive response. It's not an active, mechanism like a muscle, doom. There's a reflex in those for a reason. You're not going to find that in the IT band in an active way. You're going to find it in a way where whatever the active tension increase is on the surrounding muscles, you're going to see the same kind of response immediately mirrored in the pull back on the IT band. It's just meant to keep tension even around the leg there. If not, you see that like beautiful little knee and everything right down there below it, it would explode. The knee wouldn't be able to handle the rotational gait loss of like, what the rotational pressure I'm talking about around the knee would cause in the gait of it. It would destroy it instantly. And that's why the TFL is hugely important, just like glute medius. If you look at TFL on the second picture right at the top of the red, basically look in that region down a few inches, and then look at the muscle right behind it getting into glute medius and minimus. And that's where you release those two and you keep the hips dropped out of the pelvis. And when you do that, then the IT band stays way less angry. Bicep femoris, you look at on the back there, and the white going into the up under the glute. Those muscles, short head and long head, and the bicep femoris. That's a main reason why that outer side of the quad right through here gets as angry as it does. We have the pelvic tilt that's pulling up. It's collapsing that hamstring muscle into the leg. If you imagine that white part in the back of the leg on that second picture from the left, and it just being smashed through to the front of the leg, now you can get a visual on why, if that goes flat, meaning it goes in, why the quad would appear bigger, because it's pushing it out. So you get this big bulge. So we're going to show that today with how to delete quad dominance and hamstring issues as well. You can go to the next one. This is something that's trivial, but it's not. I mean, when I went to do the Theragun certification and they wanted to segment the entire body and say like, oh, we're just going to go from the knee to the foot for plantar fasciitis. And then for, everything to do with knee issues, we're just going to work from the hip to the knee. And that's just lazy. That's completely lazy all the way around, because you can do less on the whole leg and get more of an effect on what you're trying to work on if you do it overall and you don't try and hit like one spot and dig it out. Plus, if you hit one spot and dig it out like crazy, and you're not doing like a foam rolling routine that I'm talking about when I do the 14-minute rule, then you're going to cause like some potential major discomfort for that person, enough to where they may not come back. Or you might aggravate yourself and discourage yourself from wanting to do foam rolling. Because if you over dig an area instead of spending time on other areas, like if you have enough time to over dig an area, then you should have done 2 spots. You should have done 3 spots. You should have done 4 spots. So don't try and do too much, whether you're working on a friend, a family member, a client, or yourself. Don't do too much in one area. If you are superseding or surpassing the 5 minutes, then stop and go do another spot. And beyond that, I mean, you got to look at it in a whole. That's basically what this is saying here. Don't take any one of these joints and not at least check them. And you can move your leg around right now and like feel. Like I feel tension right here in mine, and I feel heavy in all of this. This feels heavy. Whatever feels heavy, and you try different ranges, different motions, whatever feels heavy, that's where you're holding the most tension. The body should freely pick itself up. And if it doesn't, it's going to feel heavy. It's going to feel like there's a backpack on that. So go ahead, babe. Yeah, so the adductors play a functional role in our pelvis, hips, and knees. Major. If you release the whole legs and you don't touch the adductors, the person's going to be in a lot of pain because it'll tuck up under, especially if it's a female. It gets right into the sensitive areas. It's different. The way it hits on a female is going to be excruciating for the female parts. For a guy, it wouldn't be so much. But for a female, yeah, it's going to be the guy. Don't get me wrong. A guy would probably be pretty shallow and walking on ice, very, very, very shallow in this. But you definitely have to release everything through. And like we did it last week, just doing it on the foam rolling stuff. It is phenomenal because we could release so much of it, and then we went in and hit it, and it's like, wow, just going from hitting right here in the hard bony area and then releasing the mirrored spot up in here, amazing. It's creates the most freedom because it allows the leg to and kind of move out away, and it kind of releases this whole area, lets it shift away, and then all that bony area on the outside starts to feel really nice and soft. Okay, next one. Oh, it's blurry. I thought it was going to clear up. So here, every week I'm going to harp on these. These lines are truly what control the body. Muscles mean nothing without these. These are the sheaths, at least in this example. Fascia is not just a sheath that surrounds us. It's far more than that. But this is just for the actual physical layer on the outside and everything like that. This is this is the way we look at it, straight up. So this is what helps muscles produce contractile force, eccentric force, everything, stability. Take these off and the muscles fall to the ground. So you've got to analyze these. You've got to look at these and let your body talk to you. Let your clients see these. Let your friend or family member see these. Let them visualize it. Let them see and kind of move and be like, wow, okay, I feel that one, And that's just a simple, stupid simple, That's stupid simple. If you can get something stupid simple, it means that it takes any average person looking at it and it will start to get their brain talking to their body. Because you have to realize if you don't go stupid simple, even one layer of complexity, when somebody doesn't have a mind-body connection, could be the entire thing not working at all. But if you can make them visualize something like this and then move and feel an entire sheath, not like a specific muscle or whatever, tell somebody to get away from telling you like right here hurts and have them move and be like, oh, wow, it's that second to last one on the right there. I'm feeling that one. Like I feel like it's connected to the back of my arms. I feel like it wraps down to where my knees are all bulged out and pulling. That's what you want to look for. And that's what you want to assess yourself like. This is functional movement screens. If I was to do this like the way I was doing with Gray Cook's work and even the SMFA and everything like that, it's all really basic stuff. How can we get the body to rotate? And this, as far as this, hip to knee and everything in between is a massive contributor because the bigger the muscle group, the more slack it can take out of the body. So the more it can pull to it. And if you don't fix things, especially when you got the pelvis shifting upwards, it can be the biggest draw that you could have in the body. So releasing it could be something that fixes like 100 other issues. Are we good? All right. All right, so making sure we're still plugged in. Yeah. Squeeze your knees. So that's what we're going to look for today. Just a basic squeeze your knees, turn to the side. Squeeze your knees. So that's really, and then face the wall. Squeeze your knees. Okay. Pull your shorts just against your leg. Don't pull them up. Just pull them against your leg. Yeah. And then squeeze your knees like that. Cool. And then turn. Squeeze your knees. All right. Simple and basic. So see, Sarah's pelvis is actually getting quite a bit better here, you know. And yeah, you even have like women have all sorts of different things they deal with. Every month they're going to deal with the pelvis coming out of whack during their cycle. So ladies out there, don't think your time of the month and everything should be like a perfect alignment for you. You should have it. But there goes in the truth that working on yourself on the other times, you know, will make those times a lot easier to deal with. If you are out of alignment and have a massive pelvic tilt, you can have the worst cycle symptoms there are. And Sarah just laying a roller down the crack of between the glutes and then sitting. Why don't you show them that real quick? That's a big subject for people. So whenever Sarah gets any kind of big symptoms, just sitting a roller. So just sitting the roller between the crack of your butt like this makes an absolute huge difference. And just rocking, as you can see, just grab your knees, rock back and forth. And since we already did like pelvic and everything, I didn't do this. So this is a really good one. And she'll sit here for like 20 minutes sometimes. I go and do it on myself. Guys do it too. It makes a huge difference. But I'll go and do this myself. And basically, I don't know. I go till like my like the crack of my butt goes numb. And that's when I'm like, all right, time to get up, you know, or your legs will start to feel like sleepy up under the hamstring attachment. So ladies, if you have, you know, harsh period symptoms, get into this. And then of course, like getting into the, right in that region on the side of the hips there, right where her shorts are. If you feel hard, bony kind of tension there, then break that up. Spend time laying on your side on the roller for a good 5 to 10 minutes to break it up. All right, let's do it. I always forget that that picture is super clear. This one's like the crappy one that we see. That looks like total DJ. I think you should be.
Facing it? Yeah.
Not like that. I was thinking here though.
Yeah, must put it over.
That can come across to you. Yeah, just lay.
Put my legs
Lay,
against that one.
lay right here. Cool. Put the leg down. All right, so I'm just gonna do basic decompression on with the gun. I strongly urge you to do this on the when you're doing the quads or the hamstrings. Hamstrings, not so much. It's really uncomfortable. But the quads, turn it on its sides and buzz it like this. So somebody's really jumpy, then don't use it on the high speed. But you can. I take it and I go across the layers, and then up higher, all pushing it away. Like you'll feel it. Like when you put your fingers there, you can feel like the lines, and you're trying to get in between those. But just turn it on its side, and we're just doing that to do a decompression on it. It's really all it is. And it kind of sinks the muscles so they're talking to each other and they're not as angry. Want to do your hamstring first?
So when you touch here, it makes everything here cramp and tickle.
Well, she's really bound up right through here. So this would be, I mean, this would be like an example probably because of what we did last week, but we didn't fully, go down the way that I would. So it kind of shows you how sensitive, because we released it. Now the pull that's on it down here and everything, it's got everything aggravated. So I'm going to take this and push it all out. So I'm taking my hand, grabbing it, pulling it all out. And I'm going to also be pulling down here and pulling there. Put your hands under your back. If it wasn't me working on her, she wouldn't twitch.
Yes, I would.
No, she wouldn't. Breathe. So just push it out just towards the ground. You can even get in here, like taking your hand like right in the middle of the groin and the hip. And then you push it out and just kind of grind your hand in there. If you're not comfortable doing it because it's a sensitive area, then, start somewhere else. Get used to it whenever you are. It's definitely a key area because you get people get numbness in the leg and everything like that. If you don't work this area, it's going to be really hard to get rid of that. So, and you can also take, like, I'll do with my knee a lot and come across it. Because she needs big, broad pressure. So, it sounds wrong, but broad pressure. So I'm taking this and smashing the line down. So get your knee into where you feel it. It's up more towards the hip. Once you get it across, it'll feel like a line under your leg. And just lean forward. This is why people should be doing therapy on mats. I don't agree with the tables. Tables are cool for stretching. And fascial stretching and stuff. I think for optimal performance of therapy, it's like get on the ground. You got to go. I mean, you get way more you feel because you'll get just pressure that you can do while your body is more relaxed doing it. So all I'm doing is just letting it sink in and then rolling my body out, letting it come over it and keeping my focus on what I feel like right on that cord and just ignoring everything else and keeping the pressure right into that cord. And if you're doing it with your hands, your elbow, whatever, so be it.
To show how connected we are, because he's doing this. My left hip is actually cramping because it's pulling across. So that could be what, compensation, alignment.
Just shows you that the body has meridians that energetically work. The flow of energy, it's mirrored on both sides. So you don't have one meridian on one and not on the other. So if this is angry, I don't care if the other side feels good. That's why she's telling you right now, even if somebody has a good situation or a bad situation, tension, the other side definitely has some type of tension too. All right. So like you guys aren't going to be able to see this so much, but like this side is dropped. This side is still, they're both about the same height, but this is down more than this. And what was I going to say?
You can just see how much my knee is relaxed compared to the other side.
Yeah, this knee's all bent up, and then this one is basically laying flatter and more relaxed. Another way that I do this is with the elbow, so I'll show you that. So you basically are going to get I'm not going to be able to talk because it's going to be behind me. So you're getting the elbow right into this crevice. You're trying to take this out and push this down. I should, on her, if somebody was this jumpy, I would definitely tell you, encourage you to go to the hamstring first. Go see if the hamstring is easier to work with. With her, it's whatever, because I know how to make it go away quick. But if somebody else or yourself is presenting this way, then switch to the hamstring. Deep breath. Yeah. So it's, can you talk to me? Tell them it's actually pushing inward.
Pushing in on this one.
Towards the midline instead of out.
Towards the midline instead of out. Oh,
Got my face all super digital. See the faces I make even when I work on people. So it was actually in instead of out. You can see that now. That side's down. And the quad is starting down here. And you can see on that one right in there is still pulled up into it. It looks like she's twisted. But it was in. So I was pushing in. So I kept the cord was like right here. And then I kept it in. The inward pressure, and then I was bringing it up and down and feeling which way it melted. And then as it melted, I just kept my elbow right in the head of where I felt it moving. And then you just let it sink in and melt, keeping that pressure on it as it does go, but trying to work it into a stretch one way or another. So you never lose your pressure while you move. So if you pull it this way, you pull it in, you pull it out, keep the pressure on the spot. Focus on that spot, even if you got to close your eyes like I do. I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I still have to close my eyes to fixate on stuff. I still have to focus every second that I'm doing it, or else the work won't be nearly as good. And that's the whole mind-body connection. So I'm going to do this on the other side, and I'm just going to do it exactly how she's sitting. So that way, maybe you guys can get a different angle like that and just see the difference. Or maybe I'll do it different because she's like that. Always keep pushing it in the stretch, whether you're doing it with your hand or the Theragun. Always push it into a stretch. Another way to do it is to sink your knee from the inside and then pull it out. And sometimes doing it like this with some broad pressure is, oh, I'm blocking it. Sometimes doing it like this with some broad pressure is less painful than doing it with the elbow or something more acute. So I can feel it where it's just, I just let it sink in. And then once it sinks in, then I pull it down and kind of out.
So why, right now I have a lot of pain in my left side, but when you're working on it, it doesn't hurt nearly as much as my right side does.
So that's compensation when you see it, because that shows you that the one is the one that normally hurts is not the one that's causing the issue. So this is the one that's like the issue. That's why, like, typically on the ones that are causing the issue, they all feel, a lot of times they feel good to work. Mm-hmm. But it's the other ones that are so overstimulated from that compensation that they just feel super sensitive. The more stimulated something is, the less pressure it takes before it hits its limit. It can't handle it. So you're talking about like a storage tank of energy. And the more built up with stimulation it is, the more sensitive it becomes. And when it gets closer to the end, it freaks out. It can't do anymore. So you'll see I always like twitch and shift and put pressure, and then I'm always like wiggling around and bouncing, and it just helps it to melt away and makes it more comfortable for the person. Doesn't mean it's going to be completely comfortable, but so that just melted down pretty good. We're starting to get a good drop here. This is starting to look more down the leg. So now on this, I'm basically just going to sit right across the hip. And you'll feel it. You feel like right at the base. You'll feel like the bone pressing up against your arm. And then you're pushing into the bone and you're kind of scraping down and away. And I'm effectively doing the same exact thing I did on her other side and just doing it a different way. It's just about pressure and angles. That's all it is. It's not rocket science. Now it wants to go back to the inside. Imagine that. Same as the other side. So it might be a little different on the surface layers, but a lot of times once you get past those, you'll immediately start feeling that things start lining up, like they start matching each other. Now I can feel it wants me to push back up into the bone to go up high on this one. So I'm going up high and like coming across like in through here, more into the groin than into the quad. Still at the top of the quad. Now I'm going straight on the outside, like right into the TFL here. And you can feel it. It's just like a nice tube. Now I'm back on the spot against the bone, and I can pull a whole nother layer down. And now it's actually melting. All right, now I'm going to do inner thighs. So these are crucial, but there's really only one spot you got to focus on. You can do a whole bunch of stripping and stuff here, but most of what you're going to fix on the inner thigh comes from working the hamstring side. This one, I'm just going to basically show you how to bend the knee and just push it out and release that inner thigh. So just open the leg like so. You can see like wants to kind of pick up. It rotates her towards that. All right, I mean towards me. So I'm just going to take right here. It's right up against the groin, and I'll show you on the other side too. And you're going to press down, getting your palm like hooked in between the muscle, and you'll see, and then pushing it down around, but also down the leg. So you're pulling it into a stretch and you're kind of pushing it into a different stretch. And then see how when I put pressure here, hip wants to pick up. So you can take your hand and push it away, or you can use this to increase or loosen or lessen the pressure as well. But I like to take both of them and rock them away from each other to kind of pull them into that stretch and encourage that release. No, I don't really. I've never really found like nerve areas or anything to be here. If somebody's sensitive, they're sensitive. But it's really easy to get around, and that's why I always push it. You're taking it, like taking the skin and trying to stretch it without sliding off of it. So you grab that and you pull it into it. So a lot of times when you do that, that's why I do it that way, because you don't really have to interfere. Even varicose veins and everything, you can go right through them and just work over them. And people are like, wow, that's normally sensitive, and they don't feel that way. And a lot of times it'll release all those layers superficially that are causing those things to build up.
I would say I would say probably postnatal women would be pretty sensitive, but it would still be just as necessary because of what the body went through.
Yep.
And I only say that because it's every time he works on my inner thighs, I always have flashbacks of birth because it's still not too long ago. But yeah, I think for anybody who's had a baby, any woman who's had a baby, somehow pelvis, everything kind of shifted, got torqued in a different way. But
The real mastermind. So it's a lot better now. Come on, baby. Go on. She can't help it. She's in with clients all the time. She loves it. They love her. So a lot better. It doesn't even move now. A lot less rotation. This is dropped significantly right here. So legs super straight, knees nice and up and contracted. Everything's starting to move up off the knee. Everything's starting to drop down out of the hip. Ever wonder where your quad sweep went? If it's pulled down to here and it's pulled up to here, it's going to flatten through here, and that nice sweep, that nice curved belly right here is going to go flat. It's going to wreak havoc on the IT band. That's what I was talking about. So you can see, like, you want it to come off the knee. You want it to come off, down off the hip. Up off the knee, down off the hip equals a nice fat quad sweep, and that's what you want. You want it to be like hanging out thick and curvy on the outside. You don't want it to be thin and flat and spread out, because that's going to cause you major dysfunction. You're going to feel like a lot of stuff up in here. But now, I mean, that's insanely different. This side is now like, it looks smaller than this side. The knee looks fatty on this side compared to this. So women, if you're complaining about the fatty knee, look at how much that just happened. See, because it sits up on top. I haven't given her the space to it. This hasn't come off the knee yet because I haven't hit the inner thigh to let this come in a good way. Like, I'm talking the whole hip girdle. When the whole hip girdle and the whole bone structure comes in, guess what happens? This fleshy part right here is going to hang out like more like that. So watch that happen, because that's going to be pretty in front of your face. We should be getting the fatty knee look to go away. We should be getting this to come up, and you should see brain fart. The outside of the muscle belly here in the quad sweep, you should see it relax and start to hang out. Let's hang out, man. All right, bend that one. All right. All right, so same thing, going to be reaching from the inside to the, or the outside to the inside. you, but tell them which side hurts more.
This side hurts more, but just resting my left side, I could feel what's bothering me. But definitely this side has a lot more tension.
Tell them I'm gonna come from the other direction.
Coming from the other direction.
Which this really allows you to like sink down through the adductor. So you can take, instead of like pushing, you can use your elbow and you can push in with your hand and then drag, like pull down with the elbow and use that weight of your body. So this one is starting to, you can see it's filling up like up through here. And then you still got, this quad hasn't quite like come up. So you'll see like on this one, the reason it's probably like more sensitive is because, like I said, we need to get into the hamstrings. And you saw the other one, it's got a longer length to it and everything. So we need to get to the hamstring so we can match that up, because this one hasn't really calmed down right here. It's still pretty high up to the surface. I don't know if you guys got the woo-woos, as my son would call it, all over. All right, so flip over. So I'm gonna do a quick recheck on the pelvis from last week. So if you guys didn't see this, this is like basically my pelvic release. So as release, sorry. I apparently get stupid when I work on people all day.
You can see how much smoother my left side is than my right side. Just on what you did.
Yeah, the back of the knee and everything like that has a lot better look on this side. The other side's really jumbled at the back of the knee. It looks really spotty. You can see through there, like that dimpling.
My dirty feet. Yeah.
She knows when people are hurting. Go, baby.
All right, so I'm gonna do some checks here. You'll see me do like internal and external rotation right here. We're gonna focus on how much it picks the hip up off of the ground, and then I'm gonna work through it and get it to go out. So you want to look for how fast it's coming off the ground and how much. Now, one real quick way to start to getting to drop, if you've got the finger strength for it, is just to come across this through the outside, the lateral lines, and just pull them towards you. So I'm still digging in right here and pulling it up. And use your body weight whenever you can. Don't be He-Man. Grab that tissue and pull the skin and everything right into a stretch. So check it again. Already better. It's a lot better just from that. Now I'm going to take right through here the same way I did on the other side. I'm going to dig that out. You could do this with your knee pulling out. You can do it with an elbow like I'm going to do. More or less, I'm just going to take this and pull it out towards the floor and down, cutting away the leg from the hamstring and kind of pulling it down the leg. I'm just getting in between these long cords that run from, the hip to the knee. Do a little shake and just wiggle it in there, kind of like feel. Keep the pressure on the hard spots and then kind of just give it a little grind, a little wiggle, kind of add some stimulation. Use the foot too, move it around, move the hole. Do everything slow at first. Make sure they're not going to, it's not going to, be too much for them. So do you guys see how little I did and how it's not picking up? Like I have to push it all the way over hard to get it to go up. And it still doesn't go up that much. Now, if I go down the leg a little bit more, watch. I mean, you can see the part that's picking up through here. It'll be done. A lifetime of hip pain gone. Lifetime of low back pain, knee pain, Achilles, plantar fasciitis, shin splints. Any of those sound familiar to you guys or in your own life? If that resonates with you, then stuff like this whole line right here can fix your whole life in a way. All right, so if you don't want to do this with your elbows and stuff, I'll show you another way. It's pretty good. I didn't really do anything either. It's pretty funny. Imagine 4 hours of this with me. Sarah's like, I do. So you can do this, okay? Definitely not like that, but hook your palm, feel the tissue lines, and just shove them towards the ground. Try and smash it down, try and hook the line that you feel, and try not to let your palm go over it. I like to use fractionated coconut oil, and then I put cannabis oil in it. Get the muscles stoned, man. Go to sleep. Nah, topically, it cannot get you high. I've double dosed an entire body, and it doesn't. Can't break the blood barrier. But it's amazing for our CBD receptors. Really, really, really helps. And when you're massaging it in, wow, it's incredible. But I work with a lot of white collar, blue collar people. They can't have that kind of stuff. Military people, high ranking officials, and stuff like that over the years. So, and they've never had a problem. So people who say they do stuff and pop on, I don't know how that works. Unless they're not telling them that they smoke the weed too. So I'm just keep pushing this out, and it's really making a big difference in how our glutes look and how everything. And I'm just pushing it up towards the insertion, lengthening it out. I mean, we're getting, look at the knee. Took away all that. Leg is getting, look at that, like how the quad just sits out there now. Like everything's getting a lot more full. So now I'm just like going down here, grabbing that same line, pushing it out towards the floor over here. Basically rotating around the outside of the leg where my tips of my fingers are. I'm going towards that, but I'm also going up towards the hip. But I'm keeping that inward pressure. I'm keeping that hard inward pressure as if to not go over that line I'm working. Really almost doesn't pick up. Some of it's still back up in here. So you can do hook this and then watch. I'll lay next to her and I'll rotate the leg out. And you can hit right down the whole front of the quad, that rectus femoris we were talking about. You can get your fingers on the inside of it and pull it towards you. Really make her feel great. She loves it. There you go. Yeah, nice. Ooh, look at that, contortionist style. Pop. Look at that. It's like almost nothing. See your glute fill up? Woo. That's what you want, especially as a husband. I'm just kidding. Not kidding, but so I'm gonna do a little quick strip right through here. So you can pull this down this way, you can pull that way, or you can push up.
Do you recommend people wearing shorts when working the legs? Or
I normally don't. I'm only doing this for you guys. My own work. Typically people have leggings on, like the girl I worked on earlier and just posted a picture of. She had leggings on and I did all the same stuff. You just do it with pressure. And the thing is, your massage is like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm literally trying to stick my hand to her skin and pull it to where it's like an Indian rug burn. I don't think we're allowed to say that anymore. The pull of it, you should just stick to the skin and try and literally like drag it into like a rug burn, like the way you would like if you were twisting the skin like when you're kids. So pull that and pull it into a stretch and try not to allow the place that you're touching to move out from under your hand. And you pull it until the body feels that stretch is right at the point in the limit and it relaxes those sensories. And you can come here and push up too. So pushing it towards the middle of the leg, across the hamstring. And then I got the ball, and then I'll pull it down until it releases right through there. Sometimes I'll do that where I'll pull it, hold the pressure, and then I'll just give it a quick jerk and just force it to release. Muscle screamer. Listen to me. Look at that. Woo-hoo. Can you get the flop? That's what you want. Your own body. Look at this. I mean, that's really like very few people in the world can do this. So right here down the sacrum, this pulls right to here, and you just put it like the base of the glutes and the outside of the crack of the butt, and you'll feel a good knot right in here, the piriformis. Push the leg out. It's kind of like an extension of the pelvic one, but this is where this line inserts, so. That's what you want. And right here, I just want to break this all up right now. I'm going to real quick on her just because it only takes me a second. All I'm going to do here is pull this out. We're going to handle this in the next week, but I just want to do this so that way I'm trying to make it so Sarah doesn't have any flare-ups. And that way next week, it actually is like a real scenario. But I also want you guys to have a perspective of like how much the calf changes the hip all the way up there. So much better. It's crazy. Now I'm just going to take this and just give it one more push down here. I like the leg extended for this. I'm just taking my body weight through my elbow and dragging this down towards the knee. I'm just stretching it as hard as I can without the ball slipping out from under my hand. Massage is like more rubbing to me. And this is more of like when you want something to fix and really release, you got to grab it and pull it into whatever direction it's going to release in and hold it like heck and just stretch. I mean, it burns like heck in your own hand, but and I mean, before I was a lot less hinged. Or I mean, a lot more hinged, sorry. More hinged will let the hip, see the hip doesn't pick up. The further out you go, the more discrepancy you'll see in the chain. Now do you see that? Hold it in like this and press it back out the same we were and down the leg too. Pretty much nothing now, you see? So guys, this is how I started working. I just put people into a stretch and I said, well, you can't move. I see that, like whatever, that feels pretty hard. Let me make that soft. I'm tricking. Man, it like spins inside the socket now. Look at that. I can pull this all the way to here. It just fills the glute up and nothing moves. There's like a little bit right here in the minimus medius. Wow, look, all the way down there, that little spot made that so much better. That's crazy. Sometimes you gotta get aggressive.
I like it, you made my quad sleeve pop a little more doing that.
Yeah. That's the director's cut. All the way down here, and it barely picks up.
Now that you're doing this, there's a clump right in my groin, my inner thigh that wants to pop.
We'll go ahead, stand up, just move around, get the other side aware of what's changed. All right, you guys can see, squeeze the knees. Yeah, look at that. The quad is popping on this one, on the.
So relaxed.
And it's longer. You see how it's down? How that side is up, and this side is down. The knee is physically lower than the other side. It looks like she's leaning to her left. Yeah. So turn to the side. Look, flat glute, flat hammy, and I already did a little bit. Turn straight to the wall. You can see that's like blowing up on that side. Swollen compared. Now turn again. Yeah, look at that. Look at how much rounder the glute is up top. It just sticks out. Drop down. Look at the shape of that hamstring on the bottom. Insertion of the knee. It looks phenomenal. All right, let's get it. All right, so I'm just going to have her lay here. I'm not really going to talk through this because I just want to blast through it, do a bunch of stuff, get her leg to look the same. And then I want you guys to just witness it kind of like in a time-lapse form. So lay head that way. I did this. Only haven't done.
Never done this.
I know, but you need to lay head down that way on your hamstring side.
Sorry, sir.
Therapeutic dyslexia is my favorite. Even I thought I would like make fun of people. I was like on your stomach and they lay on their back. And then like the first time I went to have somebody work on me, you're like, laid it face down, and I laid on my back and I looked at him. I was like, oh, dude. All right, so let's peep it out. So of course this one's not as bad. It's like one good line, just all the way down to her foot, right up in here, all the way, and then you can see it poke up in the glute right here. Where is she? There it is. So that looks like you could see it like splitting the glute here through like, it makes her like underwear line stick out, where on the other side you didn't see that. So women, think about that when you think that it's like you're seeing your underwear line. A lot of times it's because your glutes aren't filling out, the muscle bellies aren't full, and therefore you have something making an impression on it. But if you have something pushing against the impression more than the impression itself, it won't be noticeable. So think about it. Underwear tips. Well, so many women talk about that, where they think that like they have this, thing that they can't. And a lot of times if you just loosen your glutes up, that stuff will all go away. See how fast I can do it. See if I can do it without really making her squirm. So she's already talking about her knee feeling like it's going to pop. So I was letting go of this portion here. If that's the case, turn their leg like that. Just bring it out a little bit, and then you can drop it. So I'll take this and pull it across and then push this way. It's kind of cool watching myself do it. It's like having a second set of eyes. Pretty cool. Very, very sneaky. I like feet. All right. Sometimes you just got to smash like down into it and find that layer. And then once you feel that hard layer, then keep the pressure. Already looks better. Back of the knee looks way less fatty. My dog is relentless. In here all day, so she's used to it. Okay, pull it across. Yeah, she does. Yeah, that's why she's called Precious. Just gotta push this one down the leg. Should be a huge difference when I get this to go. Way better. Much better. Much better. Try and hold them together for me. Back of the knee always gets it, so I just take my fingers in between each side over here and push them out, push them in, back and forth. And sometimes I'll just take them right down the middle and push whatever I feel down or up. Just got a spot up here. Sometimes I'll just lay my knee across the whole thing. Lean to that side. take my shin and like drag it this way, drag it that way, unwind this knot. There we go. That pulls even. Okay, again, look how powerful this move is. Kind of grab these hip flexors, pull them towards you, and down the leg. Woohoo, so ass, mad. Wow, what a big release. Out is good. Look at that. Wow. Say you a gangster, but you never release nothing. All right, smash this quad down on the outside right here, like I did on the other side. Feel this whole line. This one's pretty bony. Give it a little wiggle. Just pushing it out. Got that pop. Look at that. All the way down here is pretty nice. If I do say so myself. Look at that. Oh. Woo. Get that calf real quick, like I did on the other side. Watch it melt. Oh. Relax. She likes to fight. Doggies are getting impatient. All right. Yeah, I know the mic. You barely hear me sometimes, so definitely, unfortunately, that's the only benefit of that. All right, so hit this one spot. My big old face in your way. No, I know. That's what I was saying. So unfortunately, this mic doesn't let things away be heard. pretty good. Look at that. Look how much her glute swells up. How good her quad and everything looks. So much smoother. She looked like she had that like kind of cellulite-y stuff like that, you know, shows up. But look at how much better. And now once it settles, it's all inflamed for me working it. This needs to get hit out here. Wow. There's that spot up here. So good. It sits right down, fills all up. Let's stand up and check it out. Wow. How do you make your wife happy? Make her instantly leaner. Squeeze the knees. See knees a lot more even. Hold on. There we go. Turn to the side. Yeah, round glute, better, a lot better. Look at the upper glute. That curve of the back is turning into a glute now. Back of the knee looks great. Knee sits like back and into it. Go to the other face the wall. Yep. All right, turn. Yeah, look at that. Even as she turned, you could see that. You could see the squeeze your knees. Yeah, look at that. Face me, squeeze your knees. Yeah, it's all fuzzy right now. There we go. Turn, squeeze your knees. Yeah, look at that tear dropping down the side of the leg. All right, face the wall, squeeze your knees. Yeah, she's still a little shifted to the right. You can see that. I'll fix that though. But her knees are even and her legs are sitting more neutral. Actually, that could be, that's mostly, pull your shirt down, like, or up a little bit. Yeah, you can see the right side is hiked up a little bit. Left side. Long day, sorry. Wait, what am I looking at? Okay. It's weird, I look at the camera. Stick your butt out. And your knees. There we go. Touch your knees, right? Squeeze your knees. All right, face me. Squeeze the knees. Better. Look at that right one, man. Popping. All right, turn. Face, squeeze the knees. Yeah, teardrop, a lot better. Stands locked in those knees, a lot more centered. She's not. Put your arms down. Tuck your glutes. See, she's like 10 degrees outside of neutral, so that's good. Relax. Put your arms up. Face the wall. Flex your knees. Squeeze the knees to me. Yeah, a lot better on that glute. I'll still fix some more of it. And then turn. Squeeze the knees. All right, cool. Cool. All right, guys. So that's a wrap. Episode 9, Sunday, 9 o'clock, Pacific Standard Time. We'll be going over this version. It's my favorite. I'll show you guys this. Ooh. How to get in them hamstrings the best way. This is where this roller is key, but it doesn't matter. Watch. It does if you can't find your roller. I like to do it against a chair or a wall. Nah, I like to lean over it like this, and you just get right in that hammy, and you get the insertions and everything. So stay tuned. See you guys Sunday. Yeah, I'll send out the link and let you guys know the one that I'm posting up for free. So if you have any friends or anybody who's interested in checking out what the course is all about, we're gonna do this one, and then I'll pick a partner therapy one. I don't know which one I could do for partner therapy, but just to give people an idea of like what it's all about. So I'll probably do one in the future to where we make sure that it's formatted like this and we do it right. But love you guys. I'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for coming.